Alright guys, welcome to the continuation of Nagash, the Master of the Undead. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting the base coat onto this. I'm hoping I can get it as close to the trailings of his robe as I can. You see another little addition I got, so this way I don't have to handle the model as much, which will help reduce the wear and tear of the paint job. It's about 20 bucks at Hobby Lobby. And I also bought Citadel's purple base coat so that I can, because as much as I don't mind using other people's paints, whatever magic they use for their base coats, their base paints, is amazing. And I think they traded in creativity for some survivability in their paint there. But it'd be hard to paint Nagash without talking about the Age of Sigmar, so I may do that here in a little bit. I honestly don't have much authority on that, mainly because because I've just given the rules a cursory glance, and it looks like a super duper streamlined rule set. And looked over the dwarves, and there's in all of them there seems to be kind of a level of silliness, which I don't mind. Some people have got the traditional strong neckbeards have gotten into an uproar over that, and that they're not taking the game seriously. And all I can say is, look, I'm playing with army men on a table and rolling dice to see if they die. If I can't laugh at that, then I need to quit the hobby and take up like mixed martial arts and compete, because that's the kind of competition you're looking for. And I'm too old to do that anyway, so it's going to take a good bit of painting, I think, to get this base coat on. Yeah, I did make my final decision to go purple here onto the base. I'm using a very large brush because I have a lot of stuff to go over. There's just a lot of surface on this, and so I want to take as much paint as I can and get it on as quickly as I can. To make a nice, smooth, even base coat as possible. Wow, I'm going to need a lot more paint than that. This part would have been really nice to airbrush, but the overspray would have been so much that I would have had to spend hours on taping just to get this one coat on, which may have been worth the cost. But I found out that whenever I tape to keep things from getting paint on them, I inevitably miss a spot. It's kind of like mold lines or filling the seams, like going over this. I thought I had gotten all the seams filled with putty and filing down and sanding, and thought I'd gotten them all flush, but once I got the primer coat on, I realized how wrong I was. That's actually going to look really nice, and I've got a purple wash to put over that. And so I went with the old Mark I hand, and you see the waggling of the spirit trail here. I have to get Pocahontas on that, get those spirits in line. Either that or painter's glue, or modeling glue. But yeah, that's. And again, I'm finding the pluses and minuses to the all-clad lacquer primer. One is it coats really well and gives a really strong undercoating. That's a very good plus. The minus is I think I've laid it on too thick, and it's created kind of a satin or semi-gloss coating on it, which allows the paint to run a little bit. So I've got to paint on it a little bit and then wait for it to dry and then come back and paint over to get all the spots that I missed and cover over the brush strokes and clean them out. And I have to wait a little bit longer for that to dry. I've got plenty of open space to paint. That's going to take a lot of paint. I'm really glad the War Boss opened up the community to a year-long thing. Maybe want to make it into a continuous community and just have the painting challenges, you know, announce when it's coming, and that way we can all just stay in one spot and be famous. But yeah, I'll be very interested to see where the Age of Sigmar goes. You know, they've released the starter box. It's the first week. They've released all the rules for free, which I think, you know, there's nothing bad with that. I think that's a good thing because, you know, I special ordered the 8th edition, special edition rule book with the little carry sack and the fancy pants measuring devices and all that because I was really eager to make the jump from 7th to 8th edition, and then 8th edition killed all the fantasy here in Charlotte, at least amongst my guys that I played with. It just completely wiped out fantasy play. Now I think at some of the other stores it still persisted, and just found out that I think I said this last video, but there's now a Games Workshop in Greenville, South Carolina, which is just about the same distance as any other gaming shop from where I live, and so I may go down there and see some Age of Sigmar stuff and see how it works. Try it out, and especially if they release some additional rule sets, new models, you know, all sorts of stuff. See what they put out. Now, the one thing that I do not like about the Age of Sigmar is the abandonment of the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles setting. It goes into a new setting. I haven't really looked at all of it. I just know that there's all these different ethereal realms or ethereal or magical realms. Dare you enter my magical realm? And there's not the beloved landscape that we once had, which the end times pretty much kind of told you that was going to happen because, you know, the whole world ends. And you know, literally gets blown to pieces by a chaos rift. Spoilers there. I guess I should have. Let me post the spoiler. Oop, 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 oop. Okay, good. Did not get any purple onto Nagash's arm there. I don't think. Nope. Okay, good. Because that would be a pain in the butt to reblend. Yeah. So let's hold on to the spirit daggers. But yeah, I really liked the fantasy setting, you know, because, you know, it was a little derivative. It was, you know, part Tolkien, part Le Morte d'Arthur, part Bram Stoker. I mean, it was just all this stuff that, you know, people. It's kind of like the early D&D stuff, you know. It was. Wouldn't it be cool if we could go to Middle Earth? But we can't get the rights to Middle Earth, so let's make a place that's totally not Middle Earth, but is exactly like it. You know, and then it's like, well, we can't make the Middle Earth elves. Let's make them a little more balanced. You know, all that sort of stuff. You know, so everybody, you know, it was like you were playing in Middle Earth, and you could take the system and tweak it a little bit and play and be, you know, Gimli and Glowin and Owen and all the other dwarves and elves and hobbits and everything. And you know, I mean, you could do that. You could use your imagination and build stuff. And you know, with all these different little magical realms, I'm just not seeing as much opportunity to build, you know, your own realm. Now again, they haven't released much fluff. They've only released kind of the crunch, the rules and the models and the starter set, you know, which is $250,000. Same cost I spent on the 1/72nd scale Millennium Falcon. That's a different story and a later project. Which I'm glad I bought it when I did, and they're now up to almost $600 for a model. And you know, honestly, if I never even build it, I can throw it onto eBay and make all my money back plus some. But you know, c'est la vie, c'est la guerre, c'est la modeling. But yeah, as you can see, this is going to take a while. I think I may turn the camera off and then turn it back on towards the end when I've gotten more painted. More to show. And again, my opinions on the Age of Sigmar are just that, my opinions. And I honestly wait till I can play a game. See how things go. See if I like that. Because, you know, if it's fun, then the rules will stand. And if it's not fun, you know, if it's tedious, then the same thing that happened to the 8th edition fantasy here in Charlotte will happen all over, and the game will die. But anyway, I know you guys have some painting to do, and 11 minutes is a pretty decent video so far, and it'll go a little bit longer once I get towards the end. Anyway, adios. Well, as you can see, my little companion has showed up, and so painting is an end for today. You can see the purple is looking really well on the spirit tendrils. It looks really nice. We've got a lot to go back over. I mean, it's going to take a lot of going over and over and over again. But that purple is starting to look really nice. I'm glad I went with that instead of the Games Workshop issued greenish blue. There we go. You can see that a little bit more. But yeah, I got one mostly painted, another kind of painted, and then, you know, where I'm going to have to blend it into the to his giant flowing skirt of doom. That will take some time and a lot of paint. But overall, you know, it's not too bad for about an hour's paint work. And the best thing about painting and painting and painting is that you get to paint. So, well, would you like a snack, Samuel? You would? Okay, well, let me get you a snack. Can you say bye-bye to the people on the camera? Bye-bye. Yeah, a wave is good enough. All right, y'all have a good one. Adios.